Hello, my name is Gill from WALX, and this video is some guidance for those that might use pole walking or Nordic walking for rehabilitation, or refer people to pole walking for their recovery and rehabilitation. As somebody that's been involved with exercise referrals since the 1990s, and very proud to have brought Nordic Walking into the UK and developed some programs based around rehabilitation for stability, mobility and functional fitness for the older adult, we feel now it's really important to help people understand that there is a number of different terms that are used in relation to pole walking for rehabilitation, and also to understand the types of poles that people might find if they were to search on Amazon. For instance, if they use a blanket term like Nordic walking, they're more likely to find poles that are not going to be advised for them. So this video is to explain the differences and to introduce you to the accelerator poles, which we have developed in order to, we hopefully think, overcome a lot of the issues that over the years we've encountered when using all different types of poles for stability and rehabilitation. In its purest form, Nordic walking is a sports coaching technique that came from cross-country skiing, and a Nordic walking pole would involve the participant being strapped to that pole, and also it would have a very narrow handle because they don't actually grip the pole, because the strap is designed to be used in order to articulate and create forward motion and propulsion, much like cross-country skiing. Obviously, when it comes to rehabilitation, there might be some limitations about strapping a participant to a pole and advising them not to grip that pole, because the pole then becomes a mobility hazard, a trip hazard. And also, what does tend to happen if people are strapped to a pole and it's got a narrow handle, if it's for rehabilitation, they tend to over grip, and that can cause problems right from hypertension and not being advised. But just because that then will create the pole to be in a very upright position, which might not be appropriate for them in whatever you're advising them to do. So we then decided that Nordic walking in its blanket form needed to be adapted for stability and rehabilitation, and we adapted techniques initially, but we became increasingly concerned about people being strapped or attached to a potential trip hazard. As we began to deliver training for rehabilitation specialists, we've worked with a number of hospitals, physiotherapists, occupational therapists and Parkinson's UK groups. We started to explore way back in 2011 the use of a strapless pole. So I'm just going to talk you through some of the features and some of the contraindications that we found with the initial poles we were using. Using the early strapless poles enabled us to make sure people didn't have the trip hazard, and also because they were wider at the base, it avoided that issue of over gripping, and it meant we could develop techniques for use more in front of us for stability and also at an angle for propulsion. And the original designs were using ledges in order to push on. However, as the years developed, obviously again, we started to notice that by pushing on something, people were likely to create some sort of impact into the ulnar area here. And we also had issues with the fact that quite often that would compromise the wrist. So people would push onto a ledge and put pressure on the ridge. So over the years, we've looked at these issues. We adapted first the techniques that we were teaching people in order to avoid any injury or discomfort. And then that has led us to creating an ergonomic handle called the accelerator handle that will help iron out some of these issues. So based on all of the feedback from the professionals we've worked with in hospitals, clinics and charities over the years, plus our own independent instructors, the handle we designed has a number of features, most importantly creating a natural feel when walking with them, but also avoiding the issues we've spoken about. You can see it's wider at the base, which will avoid over gripping, and you can see also that it's attached to the pole at a slight angle, and this is really important when we're talking about natural arm swing, where a hand falls with a nice loose grip and the thumb at the top. We can absolutely create that with the handle we've designed. We've designed two different techniques for using these poles. One is a punch technique for forward mobility and stability and more weight bearing, and the other one is a propulsive technique where we can encourage natural walking gait, relaxed arm swing, and help people to work on their fitness and walking speed for a number of different reasons. What it has eliminated is any crushing around the little finger area, and also a really nice relaxed feeling to the walking that people are doing with us. So if you are recommending that people go Nordic walking or pole walking, we hope that you found this video useful. We have a number of different resources on our website, which is walx.co.uk. And we also have monthly training for rehabilitation specialists. We'd love to invite you to have a look at that. We have resources for those you might recommend, so they can get the correct tuition, the correct support and the correct poles. And don't forget, if somebody just searches Nordic Walking, they are likely to, if they're searching on major sites, they might just find trekking poles which are not appropriate for them. And if they're looking up on video sites for Nordic Walking, they will be told how to do a very strict coaching technique, which is also not appropriate for them. Let's make sure that together we get as many people using poles for stability, propulsion, mobility and rehabilitation, but they're using the right poles and the right techniques.